I know we all want to know the cause of his death, but as the eldest member of this family, I thought it wise that we first put him to rest, then the rest will follow on later.
Am I allowed to ask questions in here? Pondwani, why are you so eager about whistling in the dark that our father was murdered?
You look miserable. Are you okay?
I'm pregnant.
What? Compliments of the season to you too. What is this?
Divorce papers?
You have kept me childless. And you want me to stop?
Here I am thinking I am a sinner. And I want to see the Messiah, but
what happened to this woman in the picture? You spend the whole day wrapping my woman up in a stink. So do you think I buy this as decorations?
I know you think I'm the cause of this. Believe me. I'm 100% okay.
What are you doing? Come on, please. What is this?
You don't wear them.
But those are still mine.
How could you? Do you love her that much to humiliate me to such an extent?
You refer to me as a whore.
So it's true you can get someone out of the ghetto, but you can't get the ghetto out of their mind.
That man who comes here will soon know why he should have stayed home and not here.
You are the reason why.
Iliashi lovers, this Thursday at 21 hours, we're going to have a live interaction between you, our viewers, and us here at BMTV with Mama Chikamoneka, of course, bringing in the fire, the vibes, and all the juicy stories that you want to hear. Keep it locked to BMTV channel 114 on Topstar and also BMTV Zambia channel 114 on Facebook. Remember, it's going to be a live interaction. We can't wait to hear from you, and we will definitely see you on Thursday. Bye.
Lift it up.
Hi there, my name is Teresa Lideta. I am your host for Sounds of Glory right here on BMTV channel 114 on Topstar. Join me every single Sunday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. as we worship the Lord together. The word of the Lord says, "Let everything that has breath praise the Lord." Psalm 34. Join me.
The morning breaks, we call your name. Every word you speak, it stays the same.
In a nation searching for answers, every household has a story, and every story is shaped by the politics of our time. Your struggles, your hopes, your future. We bring you the voices of the people and the leaders who must respond. Because a stronger democracy starts with informed citizens. This is where Zambia comes together to talk, to question, and to push for better. Your voice, your power, your Zambia. The Political Square. Only on BMTV. Zambia's light, Zambia's voice.
Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the Political Square right here on BMTV. Tonight we focus on the future of Lusaka, Zambia's capital city and one of Africa's growing urban centers. Lusaka is a city of opportunity, but it is also a city famous for enormous challenges. Residents continue to grapple with traffic congestion, poor drainage systems, flooding, waste management concerns, informal settlements, unemployment, and increasing pressure on public infrastructure. At the same time, local government has access to significant resources and opportunities. For 2026, the Constituency Development Fund has been increased to 40 million kwacha per constituency, the highest allocation in Zambia's history. The question many residents are asking is whether city leadership can effectively coordinate development, improve service delivery, and transform the lives of ordinary citizens. Tonight, joining us is a man many of us know for his active civic activism, public engagement, and advocacy on issues affecting Lusaka residents. He now seeks to translate that advocacy into public office. Mr. Chitambala Simon Mwewa is no stranger to most of our screens or our phones, but tonight he joins us on the Political Square on BMTV. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. It's actually Chitambala Mwewa.
Chitambala Mwewa.
Otherwise known as Simon Mwewa Lane.
Okay.
And
a lot of aliases there.
Yes. Well, people, I was saying this earlier on my broadcast.
Right.
I never ever imagined that I would have to reaffirm my name because I didn't think I'd ever run for public office. I was happy operating under the banner of Simon Mwewa Television.
Yeah.
Just to give you a brief history of it's named. I named the Facebook page after the street that's named after my late father.
Okay.
Dr. Simon Mwewa. There's a lane, a road there.
Right.
It's called
very famous road.
Yes.
We know you from there.
Right. So it's located right in front of Simoson Building.
Yeah.
So I created a page for that in honor of him. And the original idea was to simply record and take footage of the businesses in and around that community and highlight the activities there. Never in a million years did I ever think that it would gain any traction. It was just something I did out of passion and respect and honor of my father. But here it is now, we're running for public office, and the name on the ballot, guys, is Chitambala Mwewa. Period.
Chitambala.
Chitambala Mwewa.
This should be Bemba, right?
Yes. Well, my name's actually...
Should it be pronounced Chitambala?
No, Chitambala.
Chitambala.
Yes.
Okay.
Chitambala.
I'll try and get it right. All right, let's get into the thick of things, Mr. Mwewa. Right into it. Why do you want to become mayor of Lusaka?
You know, that's a multifaceted question. And I'll say this. You know, I started out thinking, why is our city so filthy? And I had this idea that there were people that were in the driver's seat that would deal with that. In as far as the local authority is concerned. Because really, when it comes to the city of Lusaka, that is their baby.
Yes.
You know, cleanliness, functionality, and all that. But I observed and I saw that no one within the local authority was talking about this issue of environmental hygiene and cleanliness. Not a single person.
Yeah.
It was almost like our local authority was mute on the subject. And initially, I also wanted to come in through an advocacy sort of influential point of view. You remember the Ministry of Local Government named me as an ambassador for cleanliness. And that did gain a bit of traction, but it didn't do what needed to be done. It didn't shine a massive light on this problem. And then I realized that one of the ways of doing it, certainly not the only way, but one of the ways of doing it is to seek public office so that when you are in the driver's seat, in a sense, that you could drive this agenda of cleanliness. And one of my harshest critics recently said, well, that's all you ever talk about is cleanliness. You don't have anything else
That's
in your
exactly what you should be talking about.
in your arsenal of your artillery. It's just, my response to that is, if we can, and I've repeatedly said this, if we can start from that vantage point, if we can begin from cleanliness, everything else falls into place. Of course, we realize that Lusaka has a plethora of problems. Lusaka is riddled with many problems. Cleanliness is only one of them. But my position is that if we start from there, then we can deal with the rest of the issues.
Okay. I mean, what convinced you now to be the right time, to seek office? What's your vision for Lusaka over the next 5 years if you're elected? At least what are the few things you'd pinpoint that residents should be assured will happen?
First of all, cleanliness. This idea that it is a collective, it is a sense of collective responsibility. I was walking through Kulima Tower today, and one of the things that, and I've been doing this for years, the only difference now is that I'm running for public office. But for years, I used to vlog through City Market. I noticed our people who sit on a bus, and I do it because I ride public transportation. I notice people throw things out the window. To answer your question, the proselytization, the preaching of this message of environmental awareness, meaning don't throw stuff arbitrarily out of the window, because this is the only city we have. This idea that you're sitting on a bus and the person next to you can do that without you saying anything because you think, well, that's his business. No, it's not his business. It starts with you. It's your responsibility to highlight that. If we can all be on the same page as far as that is concerned, there's hope. So to answer your question, I feel that within the first 2 years, we can have a mindset change in as far as this arbitrary throwing of garbage anywhere. The number one excuse in town is there are no bins. Within 2 years, we're going to have bins everywhere. Everywhere in the city, strategically placed, of course. And I'm not saying that we're going to clutter the city with drums. We can get very creative with it. There's cities all over the world that do this thing where, in some sections of a community, you can put cute concrete bins. You can get very creative with it. But we must provide that for our people. Not only that, believe it or not, we have to teach our people how to use bins. You would be shocked at how many people, in some areas, for example, we recently installed 20 bins. Our plan is to install 100 bins along Church Road. In front of Evelyn Hone College and the main police station, we've placed 20 blue drums there.
That's placed there?
Yeah, right now. They're there right now. We installed them not too long ago. But you would be shocked at how many people see the bins and they wonder, why is that here? Is this for me to use, or is this for special people to use? Why? Because we have not been taught. Our people generally have been, sort of taught to think that bins are not evident. They're not readily available. So that's the second thing we're going to have to do, is not only provide the bins, but teach our people through sensitization, public service announcements. We've got these mediums. We've got ZNBC. We've got you. We've got the internet that can help us drive this message. And it won't happen by spontaneous combustion. It won't happen because people will come to their senses. No, it'll happen when we inform them repeatedly. That's the only way we can foster change. And I guarantee you, if we do it the way we're sort of planning to do it, if the people of Lusaka, you guys, if you give me an opportunity to serve as mayor of this city, if they give us this opportunity, which I'm very confident they will, I can guarantee you within 2 years, there will be a mindset change. And it will be self-evident, meaning you will see the change on our streets on an everyday basis.
How exactly do you plan to do that?
It's very simple. You have no idea how simple it is.
I'd like to know that.
Here it is. There are so many people, so many corporates out there that are willing to to come on board. We just recently partnered with NEMChem, one of many people that are willing to see a clean city. You know, what I love about this city is that there are more people who want order than disorder. There are more people that want functionality than dysfunction. And we have to ride that wave. So to answer your question, there are tons of corporates that are willing to come on board and sort of lend to this idea that we ourselves, all of us, through synergy and cooperation and partnership and JVs, to make sure that we deliver this idea of bins on the street and the way to use those bins.
Right.
The other way, of course, is that people have this idea that Lusaka City Council is poor. That is the biggest lie ever told. The local authority is uber rich. Why? They own everything.
Right.
We pay everything we have to them. Rates, land rates, this, that, and the other. Lusaka City Council is the richest, most lucrative local authority in the whole country. And somehow we've allowed the local authority to peddle this falsehood that they're struggling. They're not struggling.
Okay.
Yes, it's just the mechanism of collecting the revenue and delivering services. Because the only reason they exist, Lusaka City Council only exists for two reasons: revenue generation, service delivery. That's it. Nothing else. And on the revenue collection part, of course, things are beginning to change now with this digitization, which is a big component.
Yes.
But also, service delivery. The only way services will be delivered if the public demand it. You know, if you as a citizen of this city and you're walking down something simple, something basic as you're driving down Church Road and you notice that the zebra crossing or the pedestrian crossing is faded.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and say, "Oh well, that's just council for you." No, take them to task. Write your councillor. And that's the other thing. People don't realize how powerful, how important a counselor is. For years, we've been told this lie that, "No, a counselor, just get one of these jobs, you'll be a counselor." No, those guys, those are the key. Those guys are the essential nut, the bolt in the mechanism that makes the whole thing turn. If the public, any member of the community, you see something wrong, you take your counselor to task, that zebra crossing will be fixed. But because we are people that we're so blasé, we're so aloof, "Oh, well, that's this council for you," that has to change. And it's only going to change when our people take our councillors to task.
Okay. There's several candidates that are running for the office. What makes you different from other candidates, and what experience best prepares you for this role?
Well,
it's a big task.
I wouldn't say that I'm different from them because we all want the same thing. I think that everybody that puts their name forward, no pun intended, guys.
I see what you did there.
Right, yes. I think the reason they want to do that is it comes from a sense of service.
Okay.
I think all of us want that because all of us want a clean, functional city. So I wouldn't sort of set myself apart from the rest of the candidates because we all want the same thing. However, I will say that on the count of my age, I'm 57 years old now. I've lived quite a while.
Right.
And I really want to sort of foster this idea that it's possible for us to live in a clean environment. And not many people talk about that, you know, and I guess that would be the distinction, I think, is that I can't think of anyone who has consistently, not to toot my own horn, I'm just saying that when people talk about cleanliness, they don't really talk about it passionately. You know, they think it's just, well, I mean, this is the way we live. This is how Zambians are. We're dirty people. We're filthy. We don't care. No, we don't have to be that way.
Yeah.
So in a sense, that would be the distinctive mark, is that I'm speaking about this.
And that's where the mindset change has to come in, right?
Indeed, yeah.
All right, to our viewers, welcome to the Political Square. In case you have a question, please do feel free to send us those messages on the number that's on your screen. 0573-955-330. That number is available on WhatsApp as well. So do feel free to share your questions or your comments on today's program. Otherwise, Lusaka is amongst the fastest growing cities in Africa. Urbanization is placing enormous pressure on roads, housing, drainage systems, as well as public services. What is your long-term vision for urban planning in Lusaka? Already as it is, everything is squeezed everywhere. How do you plan to deal with that problem?
I think it's important to point out that, shockingly so, 80%, more than 80% of this city is unplanned for. We are surrounded by unplanned settlements. And the stage at which it has reached now, I wouldn't say that it's possible to entirely fix that problem, but it is possible going forward to be more proactive and to be more stringent with the type of spaces that we let out. Moving forward, it's easier. Looking back, it's a massive problem to solve because essentially, if you look at the plan of the CBD, Lusaka in general, it's literally surrounded by unplanned settlements. And to undo that would take some doing. However, like I said, moving forward, I think it's important. We owe it to the city, looking forward, to be more deliberate about how we plan the city forward.
All right. Again, the numbers to call us are 0573-955-330. Please do feel free to call us and ask the Lusaka aspiring mayor, Mr. Chitambala. Chitambala Mwewa. A few questions. All right. That number is also available on WhatsApp, so do feel free to drop your voice notes or your text messages on that platform. All right. Traffic congestion as well continues to worsen every year. Cars are coming in every day. What practical solutions would your administration implement to control this? But before we get to that, since we do have a caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Hello, good evening. You're through to the Political Square on BMTV.
Are you guys taking calls?
Hello, good evening. Anybody there?
Taking calls by...
Okay, please.
I'm saying, are you guys taking live calls?
Yes, we are taking live calls now. You're actually live. Please, your name, where you're calling from, and your question.
Okay, name's Kasonde, and I'm currently calling you from Solwezi.
Oh, Solwezi. How's Solwezi this evening?
It's dusty as usual and chilled.
It's what? Dusty? Ah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get Mr. Chitambala to also come and do some justice there. But anyway, your question, please go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Chitambala.
Hello.
Komben.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you still there? Please go ahead with your question.
Okay. So for me, I wanted to get Mr. Chitambala's idea of the cash for work a policy that was recently introduced and most recently was rolled out to 116 districts across the country. Does, in his view, think that Lusaka deserves such a strategy for maintaining so-called cleanliness and what's going on around Lusaka, or we could prioritize other districts that could benefit better? Because from my standpoint, I think, like he said, Lusaka is one of the districts that have, like, at their disposal colossal sums of revenue that they do generate. Why not look at ideas of just employing and having people in long-term employment with proper benefits that could help the city long-term than the cash for self? And also, while he responds to that, I would want him to sort of give us an idea of what he would want to improve in the process in which it's being delivered. Because we are getting complaints from the outskirts where payments are late, and the safety of the workers that are implementing this comes into question because there's no proper, PPE as these activities are being conducted outside of Lusaka. So I would want him to just elaborate and share some light on how he plans to approach that. Good evening.
Yes, thank you. What was his name?
Kasonde.
Kasonde.
Yes.
Thank you, Akasonde from Solwezi. I've always said cash for work is a great idea, but it's not properly implemented. And I'll explain why. And I've interacted with many people that work under this program. What I have seen and what I've discovered is that you have a group of marketeers, people that already work either in the markets or they sell somewhere, and they are chosen from a pool of people to go and sweep the street or to empty the drainage. What I've seen is that they're not properly proselytized. They're not properly taught the passion behind why they're supposed to be cleaning.
Yeah.
To me, it's a money-making venture. Yes, it's all about, well, how much are they paying
Make
us?
a quick buck so I can survive.
Yes, and what it is that you work, I don't know if you know how it works, is you work for 10 days, and then after the 10 days, you're sent on your phone 600 kwacha on your mobile phone.
Okay.
Yes. So essentially, and you're supposed to work for 3 hours. The days that you do work, let's say there are 10 of you, and you're working along Mkushi Road. Okay, you're sweeping, you're emptying the drainage system. You're supposed to work for 3 hours. Those 3 hours, I've seen this over and over again. They only work for 30, 40 minutes. The rest, they're just chatting, they're just talking. And then once the 3 hours elapses, okay, they leave, they wait for the 10 days to get the 600. It's all about just making that money. It's not about making the environment cleaner. It's not about ensuring that this community is functioning. No, it's all about just that's all. Now, if you have that approach, all you're doing is that you're creating monsters out of people. You're creating moochers out of people. You're putting them in a position where that's all they think about. The way to do it, in my view, is to turn them into believers. Okay. Teach them that this is a service to the community. You're the reason this area is going to be clean and functional. Yes, of course, you're going to be compensated monetarily. I mean, who wants to do stuff for free?
Right.
But even though you're being paid for it, at least have the passion. That's number one. Number two, these groups, let's say there are 10 women that are sweeping. None of them have supervisors. There is no supervision. It's now they are assigned, for example, they're supposed to be 10 for that particular day. Only 4 will show up. There is no supervisor there to say, 6. There's nothing like that. For 20, 30 minutes. When they go, the ngayachelwa fieda 600 kwacha. If it just delays by just 1 day, mawe ni chongo. Hey, drama zatu zilikuti. Hey. That's a problem. We need to teach our people that, number one, you can't do that without supervision. Right. And the only way you're going to have a proper supervisor is someone that cares, someone that loves what they do. One of the problems in our country is a lack of passion. A lack of willingness to be part of the solution. Everything is about money, 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 money. There's nothing wrong with money. But if that's all you're focused on, if that's all you're thinking about is that $600 after 10 days, then you're not passionate. The other problem that I've seen is that many of these cash for work programs that empty, for example, the drainage system. Yes. If they empty a drainage system now, there is no truck readily available on hand to collect that stuff they've removed from the drainage system. The plastic, the debris, all the mess, the gunk that's in there. They leave it on the side of the road. Guaranteed, when they leave it there, for them to come back and collect that garbage, it will take another 7-8 days. I mean, the whole purpose is being defeated. Yeah. Yes. So there are all these loose ends that need to be tied up. And unfortunately, and I made a post about this not too long ago, cash for work, as great as an initiative as it is, it's a great idea, but it's not implemented properly. And there are many loopholes there. There are loose ends there that are being taken advantage of, and it's being done in real time, and nobody talks about it. And they think it's normal. It's a huge amount of money that is being misused. It's a huge amount of money that people are being paid for. Basically, our people are being paid to do nothing. If you're going to sweep for 30 minutes and you're supposed to be out there for 3 hours, then you haven't done anything. You're not servicing the community. So these are the things I think that and of course, the mayor alone can't deal with this. It has to be a cohesive, synergetic effort from every department to ensure that cash for work is optimally used.
Okay. Housing demand also continues to outpace supply in this city. What role should the city play in addressing this challenge once you are elected? And also, many compounds remain poorly lit and inaccessible. How would you improve street lighting and feeder roads?
Well, now we've got this increase in CDF, constituency development funding, which can do a lot of good. Okay. But along the way, of course, it's been abused. And prices inflated. A pole that has a solar lamp on it that is bolted to the ground with a bit of cement in the ground. There are reports of people that inflate the price to about 45,000 kwacha for one pole.
Wow.
When realistically it should cost between 15 and 20,000 kwacha, maximum 15,000 for each pole.
Yeah.
So you've got a bunch of guys over there at procurement and this, that, and the other that are inflating the prices for personal gain. In the end, the city suffers. We're not getting the proper street lighting that we deserve because people are too concentrated on sort of lining their own pockets. But
how do we control that?
Well, it's corruption. You can deal with corruption from an administrative point of view. It's fine to do that. But as long as people are not being sensitized on and there are efforts being made to that end, where sensitization, consequence, and all that. But it needs to be more. There needs to be more of a heavy hand in that regard.
Right.
Because if there isn't, I can tell you that's going to keep happening, because there are whole communities that are being disenfranchised because prices are being inflated and the communities are not getting the proper street lighting that they deserve. Right. And in 2026, can you imagine? 2026, there are areas that don't have street lights. That is ridiculous. Makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you get into office, you implement some of these. What are the timelines that we're looking at? Realistic timelines, and also how will residents measure your success? I know you've said the first 2 years we'll see improvements, but how do residents get back to you and say, you promised this, and how far have you achieved it?
Well, results, not promises, is what I say.
Okay.
When I first filed in my nomination, that's the first thing I said was results, not promises. And I think, of course, I'm not suggesting that I'm the be-all and end-all. I'm not suggesting I'm Superman or Iron Man. All I'm suggesting is that I am a piece of a significant puzzle.
Yeah.
And we, being servants of the city, in this case, servants of the people, our best bet is to do everything we can to make the city better. I'll never forget our former and late president, Lungu, before he passed away. He made a statement that I've never forgotten.
Yeah.
He said, development has no destination. So our job as servants of the city and servants of the people is to simply approach this wall of development and place as many blocks on there as possible. Some people put 2 blocks, others put 5. I'm hoping to put quite a number of blocks on there by the time I'm done. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So we have some questions from our viewers this evening. If elected, how does Mr. Mwewa plan to deal with the issue of flooding in the CBD, including Simon Mwewa Lane?
That's a good one. Yeah. Well, I've always said that the flooding component to the dysfunctionality of the city really lies with our habit of throwing things in the drainage system. Do you know that to the average Zambian, the open drainage system acts as a form of a bin? It's a form of a dustbin. Do you know that there are areas in our compounds, just outside of Salama Park, there's a compound. Do you know when it rains heavily and the drainage system is full of water, do you know what the residents there do? They walk up to an open drainage system that is full of water flowing in that direction. They take their garbage, they throw it in there. In their minds, the water is taking the garbage away.
Oh my goodness.
That's how, in their minds, that's how they look at it. To them, they're not littering. To them, they're not making the environment filthy. No, to them, fully convinced, this is a solution as far as getting rid of my garbage. And of course, consequently, what happens is that our drainage systems are completely flooded. The number one litter item in our city is these plastics. And that's the other thing. We need to take these companies to task that produce these plastics. For too long, they've just they have a blank slate. I mean, a blank check to do whatever they want. No corporate responsibility. No, they've not taken to task. And to answer the question, if we can begin to teach our people, and it can only happen through consistent sensitization.
Okay.
It won't happen any other way. Using all mediums, creating adverts, public service announcements, using influencers, public figures, even politicians. If we are all on the same page in this regard, I'm telling you, we will see behavior change within 2 years. So the drainage system, not only do we need to, of course, make and create more functional drainage systems, but we need to take care of the ones we already have. And the way to do that is to teach our people that, look, this drainage system is not a bin. It's going to aid you. It's going to help your community so that your community doesn't flood, so that your home, you're not knee deep in filthy, murky water. But if you don't take care of the drainage system, it's not going to take care of you.
All right. We're speaking to Lusaka aspiring mayor, Chitambala Mwewa. Chitambala Mwewa. I don't know what's with the speed, but yeah. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we continue to get some of your questions, all right? The number is scrolling, or rather is right on your screen. You can feel free to send us your WhatsApp messages, and also to call us if you have questions. This is The Political Square on BMTV.
I know we all want to know the cause of his death. But as the eldest member of this family, I thought it wise that we first put him to rest, then the rest will follow on later.
Am I allowed to ask questions in here? Pondwani, why are you so eager about whistling in the dark that our father was murdered?
Welcome back. You're still live on The Political Square with Temwani Nkata. Right here, my guest this evening is Chitambala Mwewa, who is aspiring mayor candidate for Lusaka in the forthcoming 2026 general elections. We're talking Lusaka, we're talking keeping Lusaka clean, and we have a couple of questions that have come from you, the viewers. Feel free to also send in your question. All right, the number is on your screen, 0573 955 330. The phone line is open as well. We have another question here. It says, cleanliness is godliness for sure, but as a health practitioner, I would love to know your campaign slogan is cleaning Lusaka. Beyond collecting garbage, what practical plans do you have to address poor drainage, illegal structures, and public health concerns in the city? We see that in the rainy season where drainages are blocked and floods are everywhere. Before you answer that, we have a caller. Good evening. You're through to the Political Square on BMTV.
Hey, good morning. Good evening.
Well, it could be morning, depending on where you're calling us from.
Right. That's exactly it.
Yeah, your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Silifia.
Sorry, come again? Cynthia?
I'm calling you from Silifia.
Silifia, where are you calling from this evening?
Yeah. I'm calling you from California.
California? Then definitely it could be morning then. Time difference. Mr. Chitambala, confirm, sir.
Yes. Hi, Sofa. How are you?
Good, thank you, Mr. Chitambala, and congratulations on your adoption.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. Sure. For me, it appears some of the bigger problems that we have with the city of Lusaka is the systemic corruption in terms of awarding of tenders and all these invisible services, especially to big corporates, where there doesn't seem to be a system where tenders are put out for whatever services that the city requires and everything like that. For instance, whether it's a wall fences where people can put adverts, whether it's naming of roads, what system do you have in place, or what do you have in mind to make that process transparent? And then my second part of the question is that there seems to be a lot of stakeholders who are interested in your candidacy. What assurance are you going to give us that these people are not going to get undue favors once you are elected into office? Those are my questions. And thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Silifia from California. I wonder if she's from the Bay Area. Well, as far as corruption is concerned, like I earlier said, it's one thing to deal with corruption from an administrative point of view. Mm-hmm. It's a completely different thing when we're talking about the practical approach to either ameliorating it, bringing it down significantly, and dealing with it. Those are two separate things. Yeah. All we can do is, I think there needs to be a heavy-handed approach to not only sensitization, but consequence. Mm-hmm. In as far as dealing with corruption. And that's all I can say about that. Okay. To sit here and say that I've got a magic wand that's going to get rid of it would be, disingenuous on my part. Yeah. In terms of awarding contracts and things like that, when we get there, we're going to cross that bridge when we get there. My position is that I want to serve the city. Okay. I want to live in a more functional city. A clean city. That's my objective. That's my agenda. Whatever else comes after that is just a plus. But and if I get criticized and people want to belittle the idea of cleanliness. Mm. People want to make you feel, but is that all you've got? Yeah. Trust me, if we start from there, and I always say this, you can't get to 5 if you haven't started counting 1. Yeah. 1 is the priority. 4, 5, 6, 7, it'll fall into place if you deal with 1. And if you can effectively deal with 1, you can deal with 2 and so on.
All right, we've got another question here. Mr. Mwewa, please tell us how
Mwewa. There is no L in my name.
Yeah, but sorry for that. Yeah. Tell us how you will ensure that people with disabilities have access to government buildings and services, e.g. the use of wheelchairs. I didn't know that people have problems with that.
Yeah, well, accessibility for the differently abled is a priority, and it should be. Moving forward, building new buildings that are coming up, or even indeed buildings that are being modified and renovated, they should add this component of accessibility for our differently abled, and it should be a priority.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we have a host of questions here, so I'll quickly run through them, and then maybe you can start answering one at a time. This one says, good evening, I'm glued on your YouTube channel. Thank you for that. He is a good man for the job, but how tolerant is he to divergent views that clash with his beliefs? Because I'm very sure on his page he has blocked thousands of people who didn't insult him but merely expressed their divergent views. Well, that's from Happy.
I have to tell you, the reason Mark Zuckerberg and his homeboys created that block button was so that we use it.
But this says you're not open to other people's opinions.
Well, let me deal with that. In the famous words of Mutale Mwanza, when she was criticized for wearing a bikini, she said, the bikini is meant to be worn in the same way that the block button is meant to be used. So, and to correct you, it's not thousands of people. It's about 6,000 people to be exact. Wow. I got you there, didn't I?
Yeah. You have the exact figure.
Oh,
wow.
I've got it. You know, it's 6,000 people on there. And yes, there are times people say things, because initially when I started my Facebook page, I had this personal policy that I would only block someone who insulted me. But then if I noticed that sometimes people, they're just abrasive for no reason. And it just, I mean, we all do it. I'm not going to sit here and say to you that I never get touched by the feelings of my infirmity and I never get bruised or anything like that. So I just take it all in stride. No, sometimes people say stuff, and that is the power of social media. Of course, people are going to refer to this cancel culture.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You know, because we're human beings. Sometimes when people say things you don't like. So the answer to that question when he says, how tolerant are you? Of course, being a public figure, I have to sort of adjust that, you know, because I think that it's different when you're a private citizen running your own page at your own whim. Once you become a public figure, the rules sort of change, and that's fine. And I'll adjust to that. But right now, the 6,000 people that are blocked now, at some stage, they will be unblocked.
They will be unblocked,
but not tonight. We'll get to it.
All right.
Don't rush me now.
We've got another question here. It says, how will Mr. Mwewa enforce that all businesses in the CBD take care of their frontage, because that's their responsibility? And also another one here. This one says, Mr. Mwewa, good evening. If elected mayor, what is the one difficult and possibly unpopular decision you would be willing to make to transform Lusaka into a cleaner and more organized city? Dobapo slogan, I feel is not enough, as it has landed you into confrontations with some groups and of women before. This is from Kapalu Dilemma in Chingola, Kasompe Ward aspiring councillor.
Let me start with the last question, which is the second one. Unpopular decision. Of course, the mayor doesn't make decisions unilaterally.
Yeah.
Okay, but I've always said our markets have to be optimized. They have to be utilized. Do you know that there's this lie that's been peddled for years, and it's been used against politicians for years, is that there is no space in the market. Now, if I was someone that sat in my office for 10 hours a day, and I never left my office, and I never walked the streets, I never interacted with the average citizen on our streets. If somebody would whisper in my ear and say, there's no room in the market, I would believe them, because I don't know. I'm not on the street. But you're sitting next to someone that spends a significant amount of time on the street. I interact with the people on the street, and I've come to learn that this is a lie that has been peddled for political expedience. When our people say there's no room in the market, it's not true. There is room in the market. The reason our people choose to trade on the street is because there's no enforcement by the local authority. As it stands now, trading on the street is illegal. There is a law that prohibits it.
Right.
Yes. So you cannot say it's fine to do that when there's a law that says it's not fine to do it.
Yeah.
So the issue here is that we need to teach our people that the market is designed specifically for that. It's a market. Streets are designed for two things: vehicles and pedestrians. only. Somehow, we've sort of changed the narrative. We've sort of convinced our people that when you speak like this, when you say our people should trade in the markets, because in the markets, they have access to shelter.
Yeah.
They're not exposed to the elements. In the markets, they have access to clean water, toilets. In the markets, they pay a stipend, a type of rent to the council that the council uses as revenue to deliver services. In the markets, they're safe. But on the streets, they're exposed to the elements. But when you speak like that, when you say, let's have you operate where you're supposed to be, somehow our people think you are anti-poor. You're not with the program. Tawakwate chukuku, tawakwate omutima. Walikoso omutima, walifita omutima, fititi omwewa iwe. When all we're saying is, we want you in a safe, conducive environment. And we can function in that environment. So the answer there is that that is a very popular, that is a very unpopular position. And I would be disingenuous if I were to sit here and assume that through the wave of a magic wand, that all of a sudden people would simply say what I say that they do. No, it would take every level, every tier of government to achieve that goal. And the goal is to have a functional city. Yeah. So the other question about frontage.
Frontage, yes.
I'm very pleased to say that we now have the Lusaka Integrated Solid Waste Management Company. I don't know if you know who these guys are. This is a separate group, because in the past, garbage collection and waste management was largely done by Lusaka City Council itself. And the council was woefully inadequate to deal with waste management. So they've separated that component of waste management and sort of assigned it and relegated it to the Lusaka Integrated Solid Waste Management. In the CBD in particular, if every business is sensitized to not only place a bin in front of their business, but to make sure that their frontage is taken care of, and engage the Lusaka Solid Waste Lusaka Integrated Solid Waste Management Company to collect the garbage, but they have to pay for that. That's how this company makes money to deliver services. If everybody can be on the same page on that, you will see a difference. And people taking care of their frontage is not going to happen. Unfortunately, we live in a country where most people are not self-starters.
Yeah.
Most people are not going to wake up and say, I think our people have to be compelled, and compelled consistently. When they are compelled and there is a consequence at the other end of it when they don't comply, that's when you'll see results. You won't see results by sitting on your desk and saying, no, it has to be a consistent, a compelling mechanism through medium consequence. And this is where council police come in. People think that the job of council police is to chase the street vendors. No. This is one of the reasons the council police exists, is to go to businesses to make sure that you're complying, to make sure not only that you have your proper licenses and all that, but things like this. Is your frontage clean?
Yeah.
Is your frontage swept? That's the role of the council police, among many other things.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we've got another question here. It says, Mr. Mwewa, how do you intend to reduce flooding during rainy seasons in Lusaka? To be precise, Kolima Tower bus station.
Yeah, the answer is the same. As long as our people throw stuff in the drainage system, the garbage, the debris, it clogs the flow of water, it blocks the flow of water, and this is the reason you have flooding. You know, and if we teach our people a better way, we provide the bins, we sensitize them consistently, behavioral change will be self-evident.
Okay, so still on the waste, would you support introducing recycling initiatives and waste-to-waste income programs?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, we're living in a modern age.
Yeah.
And that's a component that does nothing but better the city.
How then do you as an administration, enforce sanitation regulations without unfairly burdening residents? I mean, what evidence suggests your approach would work if you did implement it?
Well, when it comes to sanitation, I think that if, for example, if you have a neighborhood that, because now what we have is under the solid waste management company, each area is zoned, okay? For example, Salama Park. There's a zone, it's zoned, and there's a garbage collection company or several companies that service that area in exchange for money, because waste management is not cheap and it's not free. As long as that's being done, as long as there's a symbiotic win-win relationship between the residents and the service providers, and they understand why this is being done, then we all win. But as long as you've got people who think that, no, I don't need somebody to help me have a clean area, I can do it by myself. I can burn my garbage in my backyard. I can arbitrarily throw it somewhere. If you go to Bauleni today, the problem in Bauleni, where you've got this huge gargantuan heap of garbage, is because of this same idea where people think, I don't need to pay for waste management. I can simply just go and gather my stuff and throw it in a garbage dump. That can only change if a light is shone upon that issue and we sensitize our people.
All right, as we closing, what environmental policies would your administration pursue to improve climate resilience? And also, which communities would receive priority attention in that regard?
Planting of trees. I know people say it and it sounds mundane, but it's not. We shouldn't be cutting trees. We should be planting them strategically, of course. The other day I was driving along Independence Avenue and I saw a billboard company cutting trees in order to put a billboard. Cutting trees in order to construct pillars for a billboard. We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't be cutting trees. We should be planting trees. And people don't understand the significance of that. And of course, it's a lack of awareness, a lack of enlightenment when people say, no, those trees are cardinal to the environment.
All right. The Constituency Development Fund has now increased to 40 million per constituency. Many residents hear about CDF but rarely see its full impact. How would you ensure Lusaka maximizes the opportunities presented by this funding? And how would you work with members of parliament, councillors, and ward development committees to ensure that projects are delivered on time?
You know, CDF is, for many, is a mystery. Right, as you've rightly pointed out, there is no deliberate mechanism or system that shows the people how to access the CDF. In my view, there needs to be a level of consultancy that is transparent and that the people, just basic people, have access to. Of course, the idea on the street is that CDF is money that is just given to you. That is misinformation. So more needs to be done from the back end in terms of sensitizing and sort of educating our people on how the constituency development funds work, how they're accessed. In many cases, for example, some years ago, I was asking the former councillor for Harry Mwangankumbula Ward 25. I said to him, why isn't this market, there's a portion of a market that was incomplete. Why is this incomplete? He says, no, we're looking for 7 million. I said, well, what about CDF? You know, CDF. Now, this is a councillor, okay? A councillor within the council saying this to me. I said, you know, Mr. Moy, this CDF, Kurima issues, there's a lot of red tape there. So what I've done is just, I'm seeking assistance from these corporates. Maybe they can give us like a 7 million. So what's the purpose of CDF? And you're a councillor and you're telling me this. So there needs to be a realignment in the knowledge of how to access CDF, number one. Number two, how it's dispersed. And because it's public taxpayers' money, there needs to be a database where we know how it's spent and where it's spent. CDF should not be a secret. CDF should not be the preserve of an insider. CDF should not be behind a closed iron curtain. It should be transparent at the express clicking of the fingertips on my laptop if I want to see where it's spent, who spent it, and how much was spent.
Okay, so once elected, how do you ensure transparency and accountability in its implementation, CDF? And also, what projects would you prioritize under CDF as essential? These have to be done.
Roads, lighting, optimization of drainage systems, optimization of the fire brigade. There's this idea that there's only one main fire brigade in the CBD, which is the one on Church Road. There are a couple of them out there, but nobody talks about them. You know, and also the attitude, and this is the reason our people, some areas you go to, a fire engine will respond to a fire, but by the time they get there, the building, the structure, the facility is burnt to the ground. And then our people, our own people, harm the fire truck drivers, they vandalize and destroy the vehicle because you didn't respond on time. So CDF has to go to optimizing operations and optimizing fire stations and making them function better.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be wrapping up in a bit, but let's see if I can squeeze in more questions here. This one, it says, mine is more of a comment and a suggestion rather than a question. Mwewa's solid waste management strategy should include recycling, since non-biodegradable waste, especially plastics, contribute heavily to blocked drainages in Lusaka. Companies like Trade Kings and Big Tree should take more corporate social responsibility, setting up buyback centers where people can exchange plastics and bottles for cash would motivate citizens to collect waste, improve tracking, and reduce the loopholes seen in the current cash for work model.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I think the big corporates have to do a lot of heavy lifting.
Yes.
For too long, I think we've let them get away with stuff, and I'm speaking generally. I think it's wrong to have a city that's full of plastic waste and we don't take to task the producers of that plastic. We need to be more proactive with them. We need to be more engaged with them in terms of finding a solution to that problem. You can't have a drainage system full of blue plastics and the guys that make it are not doing any heavy lifting. Something's wrong with that equation and we have to fix that.
All right, so one quick question. What did the previous administrations do wrong?
In terms of?
Generally, just administration and how the city was run. Once you're elected in office, would like to see what the differences would be. If the major issues that you would pinpoint were done incorrectly.
Okay, what the previous administration did wrong, well, there are many things they did wrong. One of them was, and I'm speaking generally here, this is the first thing that comes to my mind, is this arbitrary sort of, loose caterism that was rampant. People forget how brutal that was. And maybe for me, the reason why it's so fresh in my mind is because in many cases, in many instances, I was a victim of that sort of brutality. There are some people that would sit in an office who didn't encounter that or didn't have to deal with that. But for us that that work and function, that are stakeholders in the CBD, we bore the brunt of that brutality. And the idea that we can even entertain the thought of reconsidering that type of leadership back into the system is to me unconscionable. So among many things that they did wrong, and they did a lot of things wrong, so they did some things right, but that to me is what comes to mind. Is I never liked that brutality, and I hope we never go back to that. Of course, people say in this new administration, some people say that there is no caterism. I've always said that the caterism that exists presently is not as bad as it was in the previous administration. Caterism still exists, but not at the level it did in those days. In those days, if Kada threatened you, they would literally say to you, we'll escort you to the police. And when you finish fighting, we'll deal with you. Now, if you say that, so that's the difference.
All right.
And all of that is leadership. Is that famous line, Maxwell, everything rises and falls on leadership.
Right.
President Hakainde Hichilema made that very, very clear, that you're on your own. Of course, there are few people that slip through the cracks, and you can't help that because people are people, but the leadership of the president has been very emphatic on this, and it's self-evident.
All right, one measurable promise voters can hold you accountable for. Let's talk 4 years from now. We're seated back in this chair, hopefully. We could get you. You won't be too busy for us. Imagine we're sitting here 4 years from today. What is that one promise that voters can hold you accountable for? And we can come and look back and say, yes, he said he would do it.
I love this question. People, 4 years from now, people are going to say, wow, the city's changed. It's clean. Wow, we've got bins. Wow, there's sensitization on social media. There's constant public service announcements about personal hygiene and environmental awareness. Wow, people are conscious about throwing things out the window when they're sitting on a bus. Wow, somebody sees somebody else throwing something and they take them to task and say, hey, you shouldn't do that. Because currently, when people do that, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. But 4 years from now, everyone is going to care.
Mr. Chitambala Mwewa, thank you so much for joining us on the Political Square and for sharing your vision. We certainly wish you the best. As voters prepare to make the important decisions about the city's future, conversations like these provide an opportunity to move beyond just slogans and political practical solutions. Accountability as well as leadership. To our viewers, thank you for being part of tonight's democracy discussion. All right. And the strongest citizens are informed, engaged, and willing to ask the difficult questions. On behalf of our producers, the technical team, camera operators, and everybody behind the scenes at BMTV, thank you for watching The Political Square. Mr. Mwewa, once again, thank you for making time for us.
Absolutely.
Good evening. Until next week, this has been Tamani Nkata.
In a nation searching for answers, every household has a story, and every story is shaped by the politics of our time. Your struggles, your hopes, your future. We bring you the voices of the people and the leaders who must respond. Because a stronger democracy starts with informed citizens. This is where Zambia comes together to talk, to question, and to push for better. Your voice, your power, your Zambia. The Political Square. Only on BMTV. Zambia's light, Zambia's voice.
I know we all want to know the cause of his death. But as the eldest member of this family, I thought it wise that we first put him to rest, then the rest will follow on later.
Am I allowed to ask questions in here? Kondwani, why are you so eager about whistling in the dark that our father was murdered?